Hi again, Mark here from Talking Bass. So the bass riff that you just heard might look tricky with all the hammer-ons and tapping, but trust me, it's not as hard as you think. By the end of this lesson, you'll have it under your fingers and be well on your way to developing that bionic left hand. So, first things first, the whole theme of this lesson is the fretting hand, which is the left hand for most of you. When you're starting out on bass guitar, the fretting hand takes up a lot of your focus, and many pieces can seem out of your reach because of issues with strength, dexterity, and stretch. When I first started out on bass, I had exactly the same issues as everyone else. But one thing that helped me a lot was a preoccupation with one particular style of playing. And that style pretty much turbocharged my technique in a really short space of time. I very quickly developed a super strong, almost bionic left hand. In the early 90s, as a beginner bass player in my mid-teens, I became obsessed with the playing of guys like Billy Sheehan and Stu Hamm. And so I began practicing a lot of hammer-on and tapping techniques. The Billy Sheehan stuff will be more linear lines like this, and the Stu Hamm lines would be more pianistic like this. In both instances, there's pretty much no finger picking. In the left hand, it's all pretty much hammered, especially the contrapuntal pieces by Stu Hamm. These hammer-ons are the key to building up the strength and stamina in that fretting hand. So today we'll work through a riff that I've written specifically for working on that left hand, and you'll get to practice a little tapping in the right hand too. It's got a nice groove between the hands, and it sounds like this. So, first of all, let's just work through the notes in there. So the rhythm is a consistent stream of eighth notes. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we begin with, so we've got this G to G, 3rd fret of the E string to 5th fret on the D string, and this is all hammered with this hand, so no finger picking at all. So we're going to use the index finger to hammer down on that G, the 3rd fret of the E string, so you just press down. There's no finger picking, none of this, you just press down. So for many of you, if you've never done any of this stuff before, then you're probably going to have to press down quite hard, but it's surprising how little pressure you actually need. If you just try very lightly, you will get something. So just, don't try too hard. You don't want it to be too percussive. Just press down with that index finger, and then with the pinky, we're going to press down on the 5th fret of the D string. So that's the first move right there, just with that hand. So we're just getting used to that octave pattern. And as you press down with that pinky, you want to bring the index finger off. You don't want to bring it off completely. Just leave it rested against the string. Because we don't want a chord. So maybe just try going between those two notes, one after the other. Next, we're going to tap a chord with the right hand. So this is the tapping hand. So we're going to play the notes E and B flat, 14th fret D string, 15th fret G string, using the 1st and 2nd finger. So the index finger takes the 14th fret on the D string, and then the middle finger takes the 15th fret on the G string. Just that little chord there. So here I'm also placing the thumb there on the side of the neck just for a bit of stability. That's very much a Stu Hamm, well actually it's more of a Billy Sheehan move. So that's the chord. So we have G, G, chord. So that chord there, it's kind of a G diminished. So it's a little bit dissonant, but that'll get resolved with the next chord. So just get used to that move to begin with. So index, pinky, and then chord. Remember, if you're enjoying this content and you want more, subscribe to the Talking Bass channel and click the bell. For the next two notes, we have C sharp to D, okay? So this is going to be 4th fret to 5th fret on the A string. So here we're going to be hammering down with that 2nd finger, so the middle finger at the 4th fret. Keep that finger held down just for a little bit more strength. and then bring down the pinky at the 5th fret. So 4th fret, 5th fret, C sharp, D. That little half step move, okay? So all of that together. So the important thing here is that with that chord there, remember to play it quite staccato. So we're going to just hit it there and then bring the fingers off. We want the fingers out of the way before we bring down that C sharp. Then we play another chord, so we're just going to take that pattern that we played up there, the E and the B flat, we're going to take it up a half step, so it's just up 1 fret. So now we're going to be playing the F and the B natural, so that's 15th fret D string and 16th fret on the G string. Same fingers, just like index and middle. So we've just taken that chord and moved it up a half step. Okay, so. Okay. And lastly, with that fretting hand, we have F to G. So that's going to be 3rd fret to 5th fret on the D string, and we're playing that with the index finger hammering down with the pinky. So we keep that first finger held down and then bring the pinky down. Just get used to the move in isolation. And then we put it all together. And that's the whole of the riff. So obviously you want to start out really slow, ensuring you get a firm and consistent attack in each note. So at first, that bass line in the left hand is going to be a little tough to keep up for any length of time. But if you start to feel any cramp or fatigue, stop for a few minutes, let the hand rest, start again, and it'll feel a lot easier. So once you've got those notes under your fingers, slowly you can start to build up speed. So you might start out really slow like this. And then just build up speed. After a few days of playing that riff, I guarantee you'll start to feel some benefits in the left hand. And then if you want to take things further, just take a look at some more pieces and tapped lines by guys like Billy Sheehan, Stu Hamm, or maybe even Victor Wooten. No, they're not regular old bass lines. No, you won't be playing them in any covers bands anytime soon. But like I said, I started learning these lines at a pretty early stage in my playing, and they helped my technique a lot. Now, while on the topic of tapping, many of you out there will be familiar with the popular bass player Charles Berthoud and his amazing videos here on YouTube. I'll be releasing my interview with Charles this coming Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. We talk about all areas of his playing, his background, and more. So if you like the sound of this tapping stuff and you'd like to hear a little more, check out the Charles Berthoud channel and look out for the interview this week. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel and check out the 600 plus free bass lessons we have here on YouTube. There are a bunch of other tapping lessons like this one, as well as lessons on every aspect of bass playing. So go check them out, and I'll see you next week.